2017. They want to take over everything. And those who are implementing or tasked with implementing that very Janjaweed template, they are dying one after the other. Mama Ndaura will die. After him, whoever takes over, I will curse that person will also die. I'm telling you what is going to happen. When we started this very mission, I went to the temple of God in Israel to pray. Elohim asked me, what do you want? I wrote on a tiny piece of paper that I want Biafra. And I put it on the wall, on the Wailing Wall. Do you know the funniest thing? That from that very day, anything I say comes to pass. It happens. Anything I tell you will happen, happens. Even the things that I say mistakenly. Do you know that I was preaching on Radio Biafra in 2013, 2014, and I said I will sacrifice anything sacrificable to get Biafra, including my parents. And today my parents are dead. Can you believe that? Oh dear. Anything I tell you comes to pass. Everything I open my mouth to utter happens. And in this zoo, they are going to kill you. Unless you rise up now to defend yourselves, you will die. I'm telling you the truth. That is their plan, and they intend to execute it. The reason why they say the army on the 20th, or part of the reason, is to stop you from going to Asorok and finding out that Asorok is empty. Is to stop you from going to Asorok and discovering that Osibajo is actually not there. Osibajo is in Banana Island. They expelled him from Asorok. That is the reason why they are trying to keep you busy. Remember the clip I played last night about the doctor? That these are war horses. They know how to fight you, but they don't know how to give you electricity. They know how to kill you, but they can never, ever, ever build good roads for you. They know how to kill you, but they cannot provide you employment. They know how to kill you, but they can never, ever make your life better. Nobody hates Nigeria. I had a meeting with a very good friend today in Yoruba land. Oduduwa land, I must say. And I said to him that in all honesty, if Nigeria is good, do you think anybody will be agitating for Oduduwa, agitating for Biafra? Do you think our children will be out on the streets demonstrating? And the answer is no. Let us be very honest. If Nigeria is a land of milk and honey, nobody will agitate. That is a fact of life. Because every agitation has to end in a referendum. I am sure if Nigeria is good, people will be having so much fun that if you talk about Biafra, they will say, but what is wrong with Nigeria? If it is not broken, why are you bothered? That is one lesson these people never ever want to learn. That is why we are where we are today. And that is why at the end of this, after all this tanker explosion, every time, go and check. I said I'll give you a very simple assignment. Check the regime, it's not administration, of Obasanjo. How many tanker explosions you had, how many gas explosions you had. Go to the regime of Yaradua. How many tanker explosions were there? How many gas explosions did you have in built-up residential areas? Go to Jonathan's era. How many tanker explosions on the Todola Bridge? How many gas explosions through densely populated areas in Lagos, or in Akure, or in Iguacha, or elsewhere, or even in Onitsha? Check how many Dangote trailers killed or ran into and killed people waiting for buses. Go and check. How many Dangote trailer explosions did you have? Go and check. You will find out that it is all, or should I say, disproportionately within this very Janjaweed regime. Ask yourself, who are the people setting off those explosions? These are the things we want Facebook to understand. Not that we hate anybody, not that we want to curse anybody. We do these things because people's lives are in danger. When somebody is very sick and is comatose, they try to, and the heartbeat stops. The heart is no longer beating. You electrocute that person. But the same dosage or voltage of electricity, if you pump it through a normal person, the person will die. The reason why you need to shock somebody to wake up when their heart stops is because you have to take desperate measures in desperate times. And there is something that people don't understand, which I will tell you tonight. You see, simple electricity is what governs life itself. Electricity. Do you know that anything that spins round generates electricity? Do you know that the earth, you and I this evening, the earth is spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour. It's rotating so fast at over 1,000 miles per hour. And in the process, it is generating electricity. When somebody is lying down, the heart is no longer beating. You need to electrocute that person. Pump electricity into them, correct, to kickstart their heart once again. But the same electricity, you give it to a normal person, that person may probably die or become seriously injured. Why am I saying this? It's for people who misunderstand us. They think what we say is hate speech. No, it is not. We are trying to wake up people who are dead. And my God, have we woken them up now or not? Now they are human beings. You can see the way they are behaving. Now they know that what SARS was doing or has been doing over the years is wrong. And who in their right mind can fault that? That is why we do what we do. That is why we say the things we say. Not because we hate anybody, no. We want you to rise up and stand up for your rights. And that is exactly what you're doing today. May thanks and praise be to the Almighty God in heaven. One day Facebook will understand this as well. One day they will understand it. That we don't hate anybody. We don't despise anybody. That if Nigeria is a bed of roses, nobody will agitate. I'm telling you, that is human nature. Nobody will. But it is a land of injustice, a land of cruelty, a land of hatred, a land that is so nepotistic that people graduate because they have a quota to fill. Very, very sad indeed. And that is what we are seeking to change. Our children may grow up in the future or their children's children and say, oh, you know what? We love that name, Nigeria. They can come back together and vote to be Nigeria. That is their business. That is a conscious decision they have taken. It was not imposed on them. Why is it that British intelligence officers are this evening at Defense Headquarters in Abuja? They are at DSS Headquarters in Abuja planning to kill innocent people. Why? Ask yourself that, because they created it. But had it been that Nigeria was created by Nigerians, nobody will come from England to come and plan. No white man can come or white woman to plan the execution of Africans inside Africa, starting from October the 20th. That is a fact of life. What we preach here is the truth. Some people don't say you're insulting them. You're insulting them. No, we're not insulting anybody. We are telling you the truth. When we say something against people, they say, no, it is not. You must respect them. Respect Ohaneze. Okay, let me ask you, what has Ohaneze ever done for all of us? Very simple. Apart from going and submitting the CVs of their children and their friends to become ministers or ambassadors. Now, I'm asking you a simple question. What can a politician actually do for you? It is to create an enabling environment for your talent and your ingenuity and your industry to thrive. That is the meaning of the American dream. If you go to America today and you are prepared to work very hard, in time to come, you become a billionaire if you want to, depending on how much work you're willing to put in, or how much blessing you have, how much grace you have from God. As simple as that. Now, do you understand it? Not that we hate, God forbid, we don't hate anybody. No, we don't. People are asking the young people on the streets to end the protest. This evening, I want us to reason together. It's not about me preaching. I just want people to help us. Let all of us reason together like one family. It doesn't matter your tribe, your religion, your orientation, your persuasion, it doesn't matter. I just want us to reason together for once, please. You want people to stop the protest. Why? Somebody said, because Al-Sarog have agreed to restructure SARS. Is that not correct? They said they want to restructure SARS, mold it from SARS into SWAT. Is that what they said? Very good. But the same person or the same group of people who are now promising you, they promised, though they've not done it, and nothing should have stopped them from doing it in this past 1 week, but still they have not done it. Understand this very clearly, please. You want our young youths to leave the streets to come back home. Is that not correct? Because their demands, they have agreed to meet their demands. This Buhari regime, Buhari is dead in Saudi Arabia, don't get me wrong. They are now wearing a mask. Did they not promise to, did APC not promise to restructure Nigeria? Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos, did he not promise to restructure? It's a simple question. Have they restructured? If you had kept your previous landmark promises, perhaps now when you promise something, people will believe you. But APC, the APC ruling party in Nigeria, promised restructuring. Did they restructure? It was a promise they made. Nobody forced them to. This one is by force of protest. No one forced them to promise restructuring, but they failed to restructure. As Mbakwe said, first fool, no be fool. Second, no fool, na proper foolish. You have fooled people many times. And these young, educated people, graduates mostly on the streets, you think you can fool them again? Of course not, you cannot. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Now we are going, somebody carefully catalogued this regime, Buhari's regime's promises to the people. And let us see for ourselves, let us witness for ourselves how many he has been able to keep. You're asking people to stop protesting. Oh, go home, I will. Not in a protest or not in a revolution. You don't will, you do. I remember, was it Rasputin who was advising the Tsar Romanov of Russia, that the people are angry, they are coming. They said, no, roll out the army, roll out this, let us do this, let us do this. And I'm actually sure that the revolution started on the ship called Potemkin. If I'm not mistaken, somebody should please try and correct me. It was sailors that started it. Sailors, Navy people, Navy in Russia. Today is Russia not a great? Of course, even Russia was great under the Tsars. Let's be honest about it. They were great. They were very, very great. Some of you don't know it was in Russia that the white man started from. The Caucasus Mountain, that was where the white man, Caucasian, that was where they came from, including the British, or the English, because the British is a mongrel race, including the English, and every other European, every other white-skinned person came from Russia, the Caucasus Mountains. We know what we say here. Buhari promised to restructure Nigeria. It is in their manifesto. He promised to end Boko Haram. He also promised to expose the Ikoyi apartment billion owner, where they stored billions. He promised to sell the presidential jets. He said he didn't need it. He promised to scrap the office of the First Lady. He promised to create 3 million jobs annually. He promised to pay job seekers allowance to the unemployed without any rancor, without any fight or hate. Can anybody tell us which of these promises he has fulfilled? None. They still call the wife the First Lady. And the First Lady travels to Dubai to go and do wedding shopping for her daughter in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of a lockdown, in the midst of travel restrictions. Such hypocrisy has no equal. I think it was actually Reno or Mokri who compiled it. Buhari's promises are worthless. Worthless. Absolutely worthless. And somebody today, very cleverly, I don't know where they came from, said, unless you understand your role in society, you can never, ever make any meaningful contribution. According to the Greeks, there are 3 types of people on this earth: the idiots, the tribesmen, and the citizens. I need some water, please. Get me water to drink. These people don't know the meaning of the word idiot. They think it's an insult. It's not an insult. When the Greeks used the word idiots, they did not use it as a curse word. Idiots are people who just do not care. That is the original meaning of the word. If they write exams, they will cheat. If they are in government, they will steal. An idiot does not care at all. If he eats banana, he throws the peel anywhere instead of putting it in a trash can. According to the Greeks, some societies have more idiots than tribesmen and citizens. The next set of people are tribesmen. These are people that look at everything from the perspective of their tribe, like the late dead Buhari. These are people that believe in you only if you are part of their tribe. That is when they will believe in you. Only if you are part and parcel of their tribe. That is why this nepotistic administration, everything has to be Fulani, everything has to be Janjaweed from the north. When the Greeks talk about tribes, it's not just about ethnicity. It's not just about ethnicity. They also consider religion as a tribe. A great percentage of Nigerians are tribesmen because they view everything from the point of view of their tribe. They trust only their tribesmen. Let me have some water. The last group are the citizens. These are people that like to do things the right way. They will respect traffic lights even if no one is watching them. They drive within the speed limit. They respect the laws. They won't cheat in exams and government. They won't steal. They are compassionate and give to others to promote their well-being. Citizens often promote projects that benefits everyone. The Greeks call this group citizens. Some countries have more citizens than tribesmen and idiots. Some countries have so many idiots. As I used to say before, Nigeria is full of idiots, but today their youths have proven me wrong, that they are citizens and they have risen up. But October the 20th will tell. October the 20th will tell. Because things will fall apart if you elect an idiot, as people did in 2015. They also elected a tribesman. This very evening, I want Nigerians, especially those that call the shots in Abuja, are you an idiot? Are you a tribesman, or are you a citizen? Because if you are a citizen, you can never ever mobilize the army to come out and kill fellow citizens. It is not possible. Reflect about your life. Reflect about your country and Africa in general. This is your assignment, and I am grateful to Comrade Bulus Jacob for putting that together. I am very, very grateful to you. The same man that spoke before about what is happening now have spoken again. That is how you know real, genuine men of God. They are always consistent. And I am wondering why anybody who claims to serve God Almighty in heaven will not support our children who are out on the streets demonstrating. The General Overseer of Champions Royal Assembly, Brother Joshua Iginla, has declared his support for the End SARS agitators across the country. Consistency. This was a man that told them, negotiate now, dialogue now. They said no. Dialogue now. They said no. Because I see one little dog walking, and that somebody should please post that very prophecy of Brother Joshua Iginla on my page. Please look for it and post it. You know what he said? That one, Kanu, he is like a puppy, a small dog, very small, very tiny. But when I looked, I saw behind him fierce-looking animals. Some lions were behind him. Do you know that Iginla was talking about this time, this very revolution that is about to unfold? If we can withstand them on the 20th, we have won. You know, they're very stupid, this zoo. Because I came on air yesterday and today and said, sustain this fight for only 4 weeks. We control them all. And to be honest with you, it's by the grace of God Almighty in heaven, I am nothing. We are nothing. We are mortals. One day we shall die. But the word of God remains forever and ever. That is why only him is immortal. Only God is immortal. Grace. Now listen, please. The General Overseer of Champions Royal Brother, please post that video. To my page. Also. Let people see what this man of God said. He said Nnamdi Kanu is like a small, puppy. Small dog like that. A puppy. You feel sorry for it. You say, oh, it cannot bite. It's nothing. But when I looked behind, I saw some fierce-looking animals behind him. Iginla said to Buhari, negotiate now. That one said, oh, that's one they call Kanu. Do you know the equipment he brought into the country? Do you know what he did? Hey, I hope the court will hear the case. Who said to go now? He is in a grave in Saudi Arabia. And we are rocking the zoo. by the grace of the Almighty in heaven, because we are nothing. We are mere mortals, mere flesh. That is why every glory goes to the Most High Elohim. A real man of God has now come out to support our children protesting. Those that call themselves freedom fighters who have not done it all. Now, I want to ask all Asia in the creek, what our children are doing on the streets, is that not freedom fighting? Are they not fighting to be free from SARS? Fighting to be free from police brutality? What do people actually understand as freedom fighting? What do people actually understand as freedom fighting? Do you know what it means? People come out to fight to be free, and you claim you are a freedom fighter, and you're not supporting them. Do you see them? As we used to say where we come from, let the wind be blowing so you can see the backside of the chicken or hen, as the case may be. Those that claim they are freedom fighters, in the payroll of Abuja, they can no longer speak because supporting the protest means end to hotel business, end to pipeline security guarding. That is what it means. Guarding, not gardening. Guard, I-N-G at the end. Because I always attempt to be grammatically exact. Sometimes people misquote me and write wrong grammar. I attended Government College Omuahia. Even if you pass through a community primary school, you come into Government College Omuahia as an onion, which is class 1. By the time you get to class 3, you would have mastered impeccable English. That's how it is. Every Omahian knows what I'm talking about. We must proceed. I salute Brother Joshua Iginla. I salute, is it Oyedepo Adebayo? Adebayo has spoken, so I salute him as well. We are waiting for the rest to rise up to join, because very soon traders will join, pastors will join the protest. That is how it always works. That is why I am advising the protesters, please, I beg of you tonight, do not block the roads. Because those people moving, they are going to join you later. You don't want to antagonize any section of the public. I beg of you, please, always create an avenue or create a diversion. The people organizing this protest, they are well organized. I'm telling you, I salute them. I'm telling you the truth. They are well marshaled, well drilled. Because they're all graduates. Most of them have PhD, but there is no job. They are all graduates. So that thing they could have put into the society in terms of strategy, they are now deploying it to sustain the most viable protest in the history of Nigeria. Now, please, I beg the organizers and the leaders, please, on the ground. If you block the toll gate, say Lekki toll gate, you block it, you must ensure there is a diversion people can take. It is very, very important, very, very critical, because they are coming back to join you later on. Please, please, it is very, very, of roads and bridges always comes on the 4th week. By then, the trade union would have joined. By then, artisans would have joined. By then, every market will be closed. We are getting to that. And when you have all these things in place, you now march on Asorok and ask to see who they claim is your president. And the game is over. The game is over. The game is over for the zoo. Is finished. It is finished. We are here to preach the gospel of heaven. That is my job. to spread the gospel of heaven to the living. That is my job, the only job I was born to do. And as Biafra was about to come, Chukwokika said to my parents, you have finished your job. You will now leave the stage and allow me to do my work with your son. And that time has come. That time has come. If something is not wrong with the zoo, why would Osibanjo apologize? Why? People saying, end the protest. What are you doing on the street? But without these young, vibrant, brave people on the streets, do you think Osibanjo will come up and apologize to Nigerians? It will not happen. I want us to understand. I want us to understand. Britain this night is in Asorok. Britain is at the defense headquarters. Britain is at DSS. You know, pride goes before a fall. America never knew it would lose in Vietnam. Britain is coming. There are white people. We created Nigeria. We gave power to the Fulani, so you cannot do anything. We are coming again. Ujuku rose up and we crushed him. Who is that Nnamdi Kanu? Who is he? He's a nobody who can do this. But I say, as Iginla said, I am a nobody. But I fight under one banner, which you cannot fight under today. That banner is God Almighty in heaven. And when I pray like David does. When David prays, David demands something from God. David doesn't beg. Go and read the scriptures. When David offends God, David will say, I'm sorry, I've done wrong. He will cry. He will put ash dust on his head. He will say, David was a guy man. David is the only man that can charm God in such a way that when he starts, God will say, okay, take and leave me alone. But the big house you will not build for me. Your son will do it. I exclusively pray from the book of Psalms. That is why sometimes people send me things and say, pray from other books. I say, no, I want to stick to the book of Psalms. I love it. Because David gave me a code, how to pray, and you get what you want. God says he is God. His words are yea and amen. He doesn't change. The promise he gave to your forefathers, he will fulfill in your time. He said, mention my name and me alone. Don't worship any idol, and you see what I will do in your life. And I'm saying to God, that time has come, 20th of October. And I'm telling the whole world. So God knows that the whole world knows about the promises that he gave to his children. And we are putting it to the test on October the 20th, when the army will come. We need to prepare for the coming of the zoo army. And my trust is in Elohim. I'm telling you the truth. That when I pray, I say to God, when Biafra comes and we build our temples to your holiness, to your name, when people ask us, why are you doing it? We say, because you delivered us from the hands of our enemies when we had nothing. The world thought we were nothing. We had nothing. Lazy people, touts, attention seekers. Here we are now. Millions more have joined. They have risen up. And they are out on the streets. In what way can I praise this very God? I don't know how to praise him. I don't know how to thank him for what he has done. If not for any other thing. Do you see the way that God can remove affliction, pain, and agony from people? All these years we've been called names. We never gave up. They called us all manner of names. They cast out. There was nothing they didn't say about us. This great family of IPOB, the children of heaven. We stuck to it. I said no. Today in Lagos you have miscreants. In Abuja there are miscreants. I'm sure in Bauchi there'll be miscreants tomorrow everywhere. That same gospel that changeth not. Because Elohim said, go and preach the truth. You must be without fear before your enemies. Always speak the truth even if it leads to your death. Those were the simple things that we did. And today the whole world is resonating from a gospel that came from this very platform. Why wouldn't I praise Elohim? Why not? Why not? I ask you, why not? We are so, he apologizes to Nigerians. The presidency, from Osibanjo to presidency, you don't know who is who. From Osibanjo was saying something to presidency. Osibanjo is hiding in Banana Island. They kicked him out of Asorok. We know. I know where he is. The presidency has again reacted to the nationwide NSAS protest. This time it was Vice President Yemi Osibanjo who apologized to Nigerians over what he termed the government's slow response. Osibanjo said that this feeling is understood and justified. Osibanjo on his Twitter handle on yesterday night apologized to all Nigerians who are angry over what they regard as slow response of the government to their cries. The vice president admitted that fellow citizens are justified to feel this way because the presidency on its part could have acted much faster in containing the situation. How can you blame those who are protesting when your virtual vice president, because nobody can see him, is virtual, only on the pages of newspaper? Can you hear about him? Only on the pages of newspapers can you hear about him. Only on the pages of papers do you hear about him. Not in real life, not in real person. I remember when we started IPOB with my deputy chairman, and we agonized and agonized and agonized, and he said, "You must go ahead, go ahead, go ahead." We are here, go ahead. We went ahead. The other people went into another room and was discussing how to bring Aboga Wasa, Rochas, into what we are doing. And I remember that day we came from the studio very late. Myself and my deputy, we came late to the meeting. We asked them, "Why are you holding a meeting without us?" They said, they gave excuses that they want to bring in Rochas. I said to them over my dead body that I want to minimize what I say about people because our children are out on the streets. I said, over my dead body will Okorocha be part of IPOB Radio Biafra. And we left. And see where we are today. Elohim is great. Elohim is great. Elohim is great. We worship Chukokika Biama. And I don't bow before any graven image. Because Moshe went to the Sinai and came down, gave him a tablet of commandments. You will have no other God before me. Elohim said, keep these commandments, and Biafra, you will see Biafra come in your time. You will suffer, but Biafra will come. And it's coming. Of course I can say it. We want actions, not your apology. I said to people that these people who are on the streets, the youths out on the streets, they are intelligent. And I have always known that they're intelligent. But I kept prodding them, kept pushing them, I kept cursing them, I kept insulting them until they woke up. I gave them electric shock. And they have woken up. Now they have woken up. There is no more need for electric shock. You now begin to add drip, begin to add vitamin. You begin to feed them custard, porridge. And when they begin to move about very well, then you give them fufu and eba and apple, and then they become very strong. That is how it works. That is how it works. Elohim is with us. Is our guide. We want actions, not your apologies, sir. They use sir. NSAS protesters reply, as the NSAS protest continues to rage across the country. Some of the protesters seem to be more enraged. There is an insult. They are enraged. They are enraged. They're enraged by the apology offered to the youths by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on behalf of President, on behalf of the world stops. If you claim Buhari is alive, bring him now, let him apologize on behalf of the president. Did he go for Mugo? Maybe the daughter that got married the other day has given birth and he has gone for Mugo, who they're wearing a mask. And that child will pull your ear and pull your ear off. She will be carrying a child, maybe he's at Mugo. That's why they're protesting on his behalf. That boy, Aisha's boyfriend, they claim is Buhari. You'll be carrying a little baby. You know, children, they pull your glasses, they pull everything. They'll pull your ear, they'll see silicone, the child will pull it off. Mad people. Mad people everywhere. The protesters are enraged. They demanded that quick action be taken. Keep your apology. Do something. End SARS. Stop police brutality. Review the. These guys are so smart. Of course, they are learned. They are, you know, all those years they spent in university, you know, frustrated, they came out, no jobs. They've been struggling and fighting all their life. Now they're deploying that strategy. You must end SARS. Then you review the salaries of senators. These guys, I doff my cap for them. They're too smart, I'm telling you. Very, very too smart, too smart. Way too smart. I love them, they are too smart. From that, somebody should translate. You know, snuff, you don't buy it. You don't buy. You know, even the oldest language in the world has its own vocabulary, so to speak. Big words. That's what they are doing from end SARS. Because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to address all the ills of the society. They are not asking for Nigeria to break. No, that's not what they're asking for. They are asking for things to be done right. How can anybody pull out an army to... And the same army officer commanding the battalion that is coming to attack the protesters. The same army officer, the same brigadier or colonel or whoever who cannot fight Boko Haram but now coming to kill unarmed civilians, the same man, if you go to his side, you become, there's no light, hey, come, they'll turn on the generator, have you bought diesel? Oh, there's no diesel today, sir. Hey, this kind country, the same man coming to kill people, planning and sacrificing their lives to give him light. I don't know where the planet some people come from. You are a brigadier in the army. You go to the village, you complain the road is bad, things are very hard, there is no light everywhere. You put on your journey, your neighbor will put on their agenda, there is noise everywhere. When armed robbers come to your house and you're shouting for help, nobody can hear you. Every day you complain. Now, don't you know that these young people out on the streets are trying to solve that very problem that you have? How can you then take an order from Britain to go and kill innocent people? How? No, just explain that to me. The people on the streets, they are fighting so you can have light, so you can have good roads, so that when your children graduate, they can have jobs. So that when your beautiful daughter or your beautiful son is traveling with the iPhone 12 that you bought for him, somebody cannot kill him. Are you understanding? That is why they're out. Do you think they're out on the streets trouble? They're out on the streets because they want to bring about a better life for everybody. How can you go and kill them? I ask. Explain that to me, please. Somebody should please explain it to me. Why should you go and kill them? What for? What for? I ask of you. Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me. I don't know what is. We have cured a lot of ills in Nigeria, but we have not cured. It seems the army needs to be cured as well. Ordinary people have woken up from their slumber. The army needs to be cured. Maybe on the 20th, when they come out, when they see their death, then they'll get cured in the grave. Please think. Those people on the streets, they are our heroes. Believe you me, they are heroes. I'm telling you the truth. They are heroes. Everybody must treat them as the heroes that they are. You must treat them as the heroes they are. You must respect them. Not come and try to kill them. They want NEPA to bring light. They want roads to be built. They want better life for everybody, not for themselves. You saw the way they reacted when they said a few people went to go and negotiate with millionaires. You saw how they reacted. Which means that they are prepared. They want that ultimate prize, which is freedom. And a better society. And that's what they're fighting for. How can anybody argue with that? Britain, they have 24 hours electricity. They have double-decker bus. They pay social security. If you don't have any job, you can go and apply and they give you money for rent. You can pay rent and live somewhere. They are coming to Africa, asking you to go and kill people who are campaigning for you to have the life of people in London. I mean, how do you want me to break this down for you so you understand it? How? Explain to me. You want it in French or in Hindi? The people that Britain have come and to ask you to kill are the people fighting to make Nigeria become like London or England or UK. So we stop asking for visa to go to the UK. So we give up our citizenship and say, take it. We are proud of where we come from. Now, a man who has 24 hours electricity, in England, you don't buy gas bottle. You know, color gas you buy in the bottle. No. The gas is piped all the way from the gas fields. Ask anybody now, do you buy color gas cylinder? There's nothing like gas cylinder, only if you want to heat your home as a portable gas cylinder during winter. The gas you cook in your house with comes all the way from Scotland, from the gas fields. Or from Exeter, we are the ones they have stolen from Biafra. The boy and the girl on the street is sleeping on Lekki, sleeping in a beggar in Abuja. They want the same thing that this white man that left England to come to you to kill your fellow people. She wants you to enjoy the same life people are enjoying in England. But a white man left England to come to Abuja to ask you to go and kill people who wants to make your society to be like theirs. Who is a fool here? I'm asking you. Who is a fool here? This is something that Facebook doesn't understand. When we try to explain to them that what we are doing is a battle between life and death, they don't understand. We don't hate anybody. Stop this your stupid community standard rubbish. We know what we are doing. There is a method in our madness. We are mad, yes, but there is a method to it. Have you seen the fruits of what you have been saying? That thing you call hate speech, community standard broken, has it not woken people up? And now they're asking for a better life. And this is the last hooray of Britain. They want to come and tell you, hey, come, I'll give you a house in Medeville. I'll give you a house in near Harrods. I'll give you, don't worry, come. What do you need? We'll give it to you. But go and kill those protesters. Go and kill them. You are the next general. Go and kill them. Because he doesn't want Nigeria to be like United Kingdom. He wants you to be begging for visa. They love it. When you're begging, oh, please, sir, please, how can you give me visa? They love it. They feel that they are God. You know, look at these poor, wretched black people begging for visa. Can't you see? They're in Italy, asking for asylum. Can't you see? They're dying in the desert. Our land is so beautiful that black Africans are willing to die, to trek through the desert, to dehydrate, to die of thirst and hunger, only because they want to come to our land. Can't you see our land? Now that people are out on the streets trying to make their land to be as beautiful as Europe so that their children will no longer die needlessly on the way to Europe. A European left Europe, came to Nigeria to ask you to go and kill that person. What type of army are you? What type of army are you, I ask? Those people on the streets, you're suffering from NEPA, mosquito is biting you because the fan is not on, everything. Those people on the street, they want to change that. So you don't know? That is what they're doing now. What do you think they are doing? What do you think they are doing? The people out on the street protesting, they want Nigeria to be like America. That's why they're out on the street. Rather than every day you complain, hey, today is bad. That goes slow. Weather for so it was bad. These people want to fix everything. That is why they're out on the streets. Do you see why you must feed them? Do you see why you must give them drinking water? Do you see why you must give them support? Do you see why you must attack anybody coming to attack them? Do you see why you must protect them? Do you see why they are heroes? Do you see why they must and should be celebrated? We are all in this together. They are fighting for us. And we must be grateful that God raised a generation of youths like this across Nigeria to do this very important work at this very time in our lives. You know, anyway, there's this piece of news here that I wanted to analyze, but I'm not going to go through it. It's about jobs. Now there's job vacancy in Berger. There is job vacancy in CBN. Everywhere. They are now publishing jobs. These are jobs they reserve for their children and their girlfriends. All of a sudden, they have now made it open. Claiming, but there's no job. It's just like I'm applying for immigration. When you go there, you stampede and you die. These people, they are callous. All people are asking for now is for them to change from their old wicked ways and understand that everybody is a citizen and should be accorded a measure of respect. That power belongs to the people, the land belongs to those that vote for you. It doesn't belong to you, it belongs to them. That is what democracy is all about. The Fulani should stop being afraid. I don't believe that God created any race to be academically deficient. I don't believe in that. I believe that given the right type of, if they can jettison the inferiority complex that they can't compete, they will do very, very well. They will go to school and they will do exceptionally well. But having this morbid fear that everybody is against us, they will swallow us up, we are not educated, we will move cattle from place to place, is a wrong mindset to have. It is wrong. You must compete. Competition means simply going to school. After all, you drink the blood of cattle and you drink milk. Milk contains high protein, so your brains should be highly developed. You are not fighting other people. The fight is within yourself. Those British people right now in DSS headquarters, in Army, in Defense headquarters, and Asorok, ask them to go. They are your problem. If they ask you to leave the barracks to go and kill people that will ensure that NEPA will bring light, why would you do it? If they ask you to go and kill people that will ensure that there are jobs after graduation, why would you kill such people? If in England, if in France, if in America they had killed their people that came to protest the same way that the youths are protesting today, you will have nowhere to buy that fancy house, you know. Understand this very carefully. The people that are asking you to go and kill, had Britain killed their own when they came out on the streets, there will be no way you'll be proud of going to London today. So these people are out on the streets so that one day in the future, people will be proud to go to Lagos, proud to go to Iguacha, proud to go to Enugu, proud to go to Bauchi, proud to go to Abuja, proud to go to Gombe. That's all they're asking for. The same way a white man is very proud of his or of their cities. They want also to be proud of their cities. That is why they're out on the streets. And do you know the funniest thing, Mr. Soldier, that is planning to come and kill on the 20th? This thing that your children are doing right now on the streets, their own children did it in their own time as well, you know. And that is why their countries are doing very, very well. That is why their countries are. And let me ask, Fulani, why are you moving cattle from place to place looking for trouble? Do you know that you can have a dairy industry? The pig milk you drink, let me tell people how, I wouldn't use the word foolish because now they have risen up. Let me tell people the mistakes that Nigeria has made in the past, or they have made in the past. Where do you think pig milk comes from? Pig milk. Where do you think it comes from? Imagine the number of how many tins of pig milk you consume, or how many liters you consume, let's convert it to liters, every blessed day. Pig milk comes from Holland. Now, imagine how much money they make. Pig milk. Do you know that Fulani only dairy industry, all that money could be going to you? Now, listen carefully. Not only do you have Nigeria as a market to sell processed milk, you can sell it to the whole of West Africa. Now tell me who will be richer than the Fulani people. These people, Mietiala. Mietiala will be very rich overnight. All you need, but do you know the funniest thing? That the person who imports pig milk have sponsored one or two senators when the legislation comes up to get Mietiala to settle in one place and begin to process their milk, not just for the Nigerian market, but for the West African and African market. They will go and they will kill it. They will say, oh, we need highway for cattle. Well, you don't need it. You don't need it. Think of how many families consume pig milk every blessed day. All that money could have been going to Mietiala. But because they have inferiority complex, they think people are out to get them. They want to drive us away from power. That is why you are so parochially minded that you have restricted the opportunities that God has given to you. Only Mietiala could supply the whole of Black Africa with processed milk, pasteurized milk. People drink cornflakes every day. They drink tea. They drink coffee. All these things. All that money could have been going into the pocket of Mietiala, but instead they're looking for a woman to rape in a boy. They're looking for rice field to destroy. Now, when you consider all these things, I mean, come on, for goodness sake. People package meat. There is hide. There are many things that can be done. Louis Vuitton is looking for leather, isn't it? Dolce & Gabbana is looking for leather, premium leather. Have you forgotten this? I'm just telling you, everybody's looking at oil and gas, oil and gas, oil and gas. I'm telling you that Mietiala alone could have been the richest group of Fulani people you have. But you're looking at oil and gas, oil, upstream, downstream. Oil belongs to us. Maybe after tonight they will change. And what I want to see, our intelligence is monitoring. What I want to see tomorrow is that the British have now gone back to Britain. These Fulani people in Asorok, go to them and tell them that we are no longer going to go out to kill our people because you want to control our lives. Fulani should stop playing the role of a lapdog to the British. They should stop it. And that is why God punished you and put you in that state. Tell them I am not going to kill fellow citizens or fellow Black Africans because of you, white man. Can you go there and tell a Scottish man to kill an English man or to kill a Welsh man? I will listen to you. They won't listen to you. then why are you doing it? Keep your armies in your barracks. Don't bring them out on the 20th. If you bring them out, they will die. With that, we have come to the end of our program this very evening. I had wanted to take some calls, but I won't. Tomorrow morning I will. I'll be back here tomorrow morning supporting those who are out on the streets. But I'm begging the protesters, please. If you block one route, you must give people direction as to alternative, please. Please, it is very, very critical. We don't want to alienate any section of the society because Labour will join. You people have taught Nigerian Labour Congress something. They plan strike, they call them, they give them money, they back down. You have not backed down. You have our respect, you have our love, and you have our support. And we are praying for all of you because you are now our heroes, because you are now our saviors, please. I thank you all very much for listening this very evening. I never say anything, even when we use harsh words. We use those harsh words because we want to change, not out of hatred. God is my witness. Nobody loves black people more than I do. Nobody wants them to succeed more than I do. But when you are lifeless, in a state of coma, and your heart is not beating, the only thing I have to introduce is electric shock, and that's what we've been doing. And now, we have woken up many dead souls. Today, they are behaving like human beings, and we thank God for that. With all this love in my heart, regard and respect for those who are out on the streets working very hard to make my life better. From me, from here, good evening.